when men finally say enough. Something insane is happening with men right now, and literally no one is talking about it. It's not happening in some big obvious way, but in living rooms and offices all over the world. For generations, men were given a simple challenge: be strong, provide, protect, and never show weakness. That was the only way to be a good man, but that challenge is starting to break them. The reality is, a crazy number of men are running on zero. Their emotional and mental tanks are completely empty. They're doing everything they were told was the right thing to do, but they feel invisible, unappreciated, and totally disrespected. They're being crushed by the weight of insane expectations from society, their partners, their jobs, and they're suffering in total silence because they've been taught that talking about it is the same as admitting you lost. But something is finally starting to crack. Men are waking up to a crazy truth. Responsibility without respect is just a new kind of slavery. They're seeing that bending over backwards for everyone else just leads to them being completely erased. And they are hitting a breaking point. So, what happens when the nice guy, the one who always puts everyone else first, the fixer, the rock, finally decides he's had enough? This isn't about anger or getting revenge. It's about that quiet, firm moment a man looks at his life and says, "I'm done." This is not a story about men giving up. It's a story about them waking up. It's the story of men finally taking their lives back. In this video, we're going to show you why this silent walkaway is the most powerful move a man can possibly make. We'll break down what it means in relationships, at work, and even in friendships, and show you why saying no isn't being aggressive. It's how you reclaim your entire soul. Let's get into it. 1. The problem, the breaking point in 3 arenas. This feeling of being completely done doesn't happen in a day. It's a slow burn, fueled by 1,000 tiny moments, 1,000 tiny paper cuts to a man's spirit that build up over years. Let's look at the 3 main places this all goes down. Part A, the breaking point in toxic relationships. For so many men, the first and most insane arena is their relationship. Men are often raised to be providers and protectors, and their value gets tied to what they can do for their partner. They jump into relationships with a fixer mindset, thinking if they just try harder, sacrifice more, and stay patient longer, they can make it work. The slow burn starts when he realizes it's a one-way street. He gives and gives, pouring everything he has into making his partner happy, but it feels like filling a cup with a giant hole in the bottom. His efforts aren't met with gratitude, they're just expected. His sacrifices aren't appreciated, they're just consumed. He starts to feel less like a partner and more like a human utility, a walking ATM, a handyman, and a 24/7 therapist. He'll notice his words have zero impact. He tries to share his feelings, but gets eye rolls, dismissal, or even worse, his emotions are used against him. If he shows frustration, he's got an anger problem. If he sets a boundary, he's being controlling. If he's vulnerable, he's weak. He's supposed to be a silent rock, but also an emotionally available mind reader. It's an impossible game that he can never, ever win. The constant criticism completely hollows him out. Nothing he does is ever good enough. He's left feeling permanently discouraged. Trust dies, and it suffocates whatever was left. He starts to feel a pit of dread in his stomach on the drive home. The one place that should be his safe zone has become the #1 source of his stress. The final straw is rarely a huge fight. It's a moment of insane clarity. A tiny dismissive comment that makes him realize he's not respected at all. Another broken promise that proves his feelings don't matter. Or maybe it's just a quiet moment where he sees his reflection and doesn't even recognize the tired, anxious man staring back. He realizes he's been negotiating his own worth for so long that he's lost himself completely. And in that moment, he knows staying isn't love, it's self-betrayal. Walking away is the only thing he can do to save what's left of himself. Part B, the breaking point in the toxic workplace. The workplace is another insane pressure cooker where men are pushed to their absolute limits. The modern job market rewards one thing: endless endurance. The pressure to provide and climb the corporate ladder is relentless, and many men tie their entire self-worth to their job title. It's a setup for an insane cycle of overwork and burnout. The slow burn here starts with boundaries completely disappearing. Answering emails at 10 p.m., taking work calls on a Sunday, skipping lunch. At first it feels like ambition, but soon it becomes the baseline. The office becomes a silent contest to see who can sacrifice the most. This gets worse because most managers have zero training on how to handle employee stress. It's no surprise that recent data shows workplace stress is at a 7-year high. Some reports from late 2025 found that 55% of US workers were actively experiencing burnout. This isn't just being tired, it's feeling emotionally destroyed by the end of the day. And the problem is getting even worse. Some recent workplace surveys show that as many as 82% of employees feel they are at risk of burnout. He's putting in more hours than ever, but his actual engagement is in the toilet. According to recent Gallup polls, only about 1 in 5 employees worldwide feels actively engaged. The job loses all meaning. He feels irritable, numb, and the drive he once had is gone, replaced by the need to just survive the day. The final straw at work is usually a massive betrayal. After years of sacrificing his time and mental health, he's passed over for a promotion, or he's laid off in a round of restructuring. In an instant, he realizes his loyalty meant nothing. To the company he gave everything for, he was just a number on a spreadsheet. Or it's a health scare, the chronic stress finally catches up, panic attacks, high blood pressure, crippling insomnia. His body literally starts to give out. It's an undeniable sign that he can't go on like this. He realizes no paycheck is worth his health. He finally understands that walking away isn't laziness. It's self-preservation against a system designed to take everything. He sees he's been trading his life for a job that would replace him tomorrow, and he decides, enough! Part C. The breaking point in toxic friendships. The third arena, and one we literally never talk about, is friendship. Male friendships are supposed to be about support and a break from all the pressure. But they can turn toxic and become just another drain. Because society gives men so few ways to connect emotionally, many friendships fall into these insane, unhealthy ruts. The slow burn in a bad friendship is a total lack of real support. He might notice he's always the one listening, the one giving advice, the one who shows up, but when he needs help, his friends are gone. Or maybe the friendship is built on just being negative. The whole group gossips, is cynical, or puts other people down. To stay in, he has to play along, and it leaves him feeling empty and fake. Another toxic pattern is the constant competition. No one ever truly celebrates his wins. Instead, they hit him with backhanded compliments or try to one-up him. A crazy, draining dynamic is the friend with zero respect for boundaries. This is the guy who pressures him to go out drinking when he says he needs a night off, who makes jokes at his expense that cut way too deep, or who shares something he said in private. To avoid a fight, he lets it slide, but every time it happens, it feels like another act of disrespect. The final straw is a moment of deep loneliness while surrounded by people. He'll be at a party with his friends, with noise and laughter everywhere, and he'll suddenly feel completely, utterly alone. He realizes these people don't actually see him. They see the role he plays, the funny guy, the reliable one. They have no idea what's really going on in his life because they've never asked. He understands, in that moment, that he's more alone with these people than he would be by himself. These friendships aren't giving him strength. They're draining what little he has left. And so he makes a quiet decision to stop investing his energy in people who don't value him. He doesn't make a big scene. He just stops answering the calls. He pulls back. He chooses being alone over this soul-crushing company. And in doing so, he says, enough. 2. The solution, the power of saying no. When a man hits his breaking point, his first impulse might be to blow up, to yell, to argue. But the men with real self-respect do something 100 times more powerful. They just walk away calmly. This quiet act of saying no, whether it's no, you will not disrespect me, or no, I will not trade my health for this job, is a life-altering moment. It's the moment a man stops negotiating his own worth for years. He may have tried to explain himself or justify his feelings just to keep the peace. But in this moment, he stops moving the line. He simply steps away from anything that crosses it. This isn't about being cold or getting even. It's about having insane emotional clarity. Anyone can storm out in a rage. It takes incredible inner strength to leave quietly. That calm exit sends a message that's impossible to ignore. My self-respect is not up for debate. It proves he isn't bluffing. He is fully prepared to lose literally anyone or anything that does not value him. This decision usually comes after a huge internal battle. Men are conditioned to be fixers and to endure. Walking away can feel like a personal failure. He might wrestle with insane guilt. He was taught that his needs should always come last, and putting himself first can feel incredibly selfish. But the psychological shift that follows is massive. He stops looking for validation from the outside world and starts giving it to himself. He realizes true strength isn't about how much you can take. It's about having the wisdom to know what you should no longer put up with. Saying no is about reclaiming your freedom. Freedom from the constant need to please everyone. Freedom from the pressure of impossible standards. It's the moment he stops asking for permission to live his own life and just starts living it. He understands that he's not anti-woman or anti-work. He's pro-boundaries. He's pro-accountability. He is pro-self-respect. This act flips the entire power dynamic. As long as he needed his partner's approval, his job's security, or his friend's validation, he was powerless. Neediness kills respect. But the second he becomes willing to walk away, the power shifts back to him. He's no longer a hostage. It's crazy, but the man who is willing to lose it all is often the one who finally gains respect from others, and more importantly, from himself. If any of this is hitting home for you, if you've ever felt that slow burn of being taken for granted, I want you to do two things right now. First, slam that like button, and second, share this video with one other man who you think needs to hear this. You are not alone in this feeling, and talking about it is how we start to change the script for all of us. 3. The aftermath, the empowerment arc. The decision to walk away is the start of a new chapter, not the end of the story. That first period can be hard. There might be loneliness and doubt, but what comes next is almost always a period of insane growth and empowerment. The first thing he feels, peace. The constant background noise of stress and anxiety just fades away. He probably didn't even realize how much energy that toxic situation was sucking out of him until it was gone. He sleeps better. His mind feels clearer. That constant fight or flight mode he was living in is replaced by a calm he hasn't felt in years. His mind and body finally start to heal. With peace comes insane clarity. Once he's out of the fog, he can finally start figuring out who he actually is again. What does he want? What are his values? For years, his identity was tied up in being a partner or an employee. Now he has the space to rebuild his identity from scratch on his own terms. He might pick up old hobbies, try something new, or just enjoy the freedom of being alone without feeling like something's wrong. This journey builds an unbreakable foundation of self-respect. He has proven to himself that he will not settle for being devalued. He's shown himself he can not only survive but thrive without anyone else's approval. This creates a powerful new filter for his life. In future relationships, he's not afraid to state his needs and hold his boundaries from day one. He looks for a partner who brings respect and reciprocity, not another project to fix. And because he's built a life he's already happy with, he enters a relationship from a place of strength, not desperation. He's choosing to share his life, not looking for someone to complete it. In his career, he redefines what success means. It's not just about the title or the salary anymore. It's about finding work that has meaning, in a place that respects his time and his health. His value as a man has nothing to do with his job title. His friendships become 10 times deeper and more authentic. He starts looking for other men who are also on a path of growth, where support goes both ways. He chooses quality over quantity, and that small, trusted circle becomes a true source of power. Ultimately, by saying enough, he doesn't just walk away from something bad. He walks towards something amazing, a life of integrity, authenticity, and real self-respect. He becomes a man who isn't defined by how much pain he can endure, but by his courage to choose peace. He teaches everyone around him how to treat him by showing them what he will no longer accept. Conclusion. Let's be 100% clear. The story of men saying enough is not an attack on women, on work, or on commitment. It's a defense of the self. It's a man drawing a line in the sand and declaring that his mental health, his dignity, and his spirit are not for sale. It's a total rejection of the broken, insane idea that a man's worth is measured by how much he can sacrifice before he shatters. For way too long, men were told to suffer in silence and call it strength, but that's changing. We're finally starting to understand that real strength isn't found in silent suffering. It's found in the courage to set boundaries and protect your own peace. It's recognizing that burnout and resentment are not trophies. They are warning signs that something is fundamentally wrong. If you're a man who feels that slow burn, who feels unseen and unappreciated, listen to me. You are not alone, and that feeling of being done isn't a sign of weakness. It's a signal from the deepest part of you that you deserve so much better. Saying enough isn't failure. It's one of the most powerful and mature acts of self-preservation a man can possibly make. It's the moment you stop waiting for the world to give you respect and start demanding it from yourself. It's the beginning of a life lived with integrity, on your own terms. What was your enough moment? Share your story in the comments below, right now. Reading each other's experiences is how we build a community and prove to other men that they're not on this journey alone. Subscribe for more content on building a life of true strength and self-respect, and always remember, your peace is worth protecting. Thank you all for watching. See you all next time.